This picture is going viral with Bria Hartley with the sinister grin, right? This malevolent look that's on her face right now. Clearly smiling after injuring Sophie Cunningham, man.
Bria Hartley collided violently with Sophie Cunningham's leg, forcing her to leave the game. What shocked many even more was that cameras appeared to catch Hartley smiling as Cunningham hobbled off in visible agony. The instant reaction online and in the arena was outrage. Was this truly an accident, or was there something more intentional behind it? And why? Fans demanded, did the referees allow the play to go unchecked? Cunningham's family and Fever supporters erupted afterward, blasting the officiating for failing to keep players safe and insisting that accountability was overdue. Many believed there was no question Sophie Cunningham had been targeted. Not just targeted, they emphasized, but deliberately struck by what they saw as a dirty player. Hartley's reputation only fueled those accusations. Her history of pulling opponents' hair, dragging players to the ground, and sparking reckless on-court scuffles was repeatedly cited as evidence. Now, with this latest incident, the calls for discipline grew louder, with fans and analysts demanding not only a league investigation but possibly even a suspension. The injury became the pivotal moment of the night, the instant the Fever's season balance seemed to teeter. The questions now were simple. Should Hartley be suspended, and how could the WNBA do a better job protecting its stars? On replay, it looked like Hartley slid across the lane, lost balance, and crashed directly into Cunningham's lower leg. Cunningham instantly clutched her knee before collapsing. The pain etched across her face. What began as just another routine possession quickly turned into a terrifying scene. Hartley had barreled hard toward the basket in the second quarter, fighting through traffic, and her momentum carried her straight into Cunningham's right leg. Whether it was accidental or not became the debate, but the result was clear. Cunningham was in serious pain. She tried to get up, grimaced, then dropped back down, unable to stand without help. Medical staff rushed in and escorted her off the floor, Cunningham leaning heavily on their shoulders with her knee still in her grasp. Soon after, the Fever announced she would not return, sending her straight to the locker room. The broadcast captured the shock as it unfolded. "Oh, and Cunningham is down," one voice exclaimed. "My goodness." Camera stayed fixed as she was helped off the court during a commercial break. When the feed returned, the commentary confirmed what fans feared. Cunningham was being taken directly to the locker room. The reactions around her told the story. Indiana's head coach, Stephanie White, admitted later that her gut reaction was blunt and unfiltered. "Holy shit. It was," she explained, the only thought that came to mind as she watched Cunningham collapse in a way no athlete ever wants to see. The replays only heightened the unease, the awkward angle of the collision, the way Cunningham immediately grabbed her knee, the pain written all over her expression. Fans and players alike were left stunned. By the next morning, Fever fans were livid. They insisted that their team wasn't just losing players to injuries, they were being attacked, and then mocked for it. Too many. This was not the first time Indiana had been on the receiving end of dangerous physicality. Not only are we getting assaulted, but they're smiling about it, one furious fan said, referencing what they viewed as a recurring pattern. The frustration was compounded by the fact that referees didn't even review the play. The game carried on as though nothing had happened, and that lack of scrutiny became a flashpoint of its own. Social media filled with accusations of negligence, with people arguing that the league had once again failed to protect its players. Cunningham's family added their voices to the storm. Her sister, Lindsay, criticized the officiating directly, pointing out how the league often fines players for criticizing referees. Instead of addressing the root problem of inconsistent calls, her mother, Paula, was even more pointed in her reaction, describing Hartley as plain mean and out of control in a since-deleted post. Even though Paula later removed the message, the sentiment spread quickly, capturing exactly what Fever supporters felt, that the moment had been mishandled, and that Sophie had been left vulnerable in a dangerous situation. Hartley, in the eyes of many, did not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Cunningham's family made it clear they were furious, and fans echoed that anger. For Indiana, the injury wasn't just another setback, it was devastating. Already shorthanded, the team was missing Caitlin Clark with her lingering groin injury, Ari McDonald with a broken foot, and Sydney Colson, who was sidelined for the year with a torn ACL. Cunningham's absence created yet another gap in an already strained backcourt. She wasn't just a scorer, she was a source of toughness and leadership, a voice that steadied a team constantly under duress. Without her, the Fever's roster stability crumbled further, leaving their playoff hopes hanging by a thread. But this moment wasn't confined to what happened on the hardwood. The collision, the officiating response, and Cunningham's absence ignited a larger conversation about player safety and accountability. And then, another layer was added. cameras picked up Hartley's reaction after the play what appeared to be a smirk as Cunningham was being helped away. That image alone lit a fuse that made the outrage impossible to ignore. Almost immediately, fans insisted that the smile revealed Hartley's true intentions. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, eats like a duck, eats like a duck, it's a duck. One voice shouted online, "She's the dirtiest player in the WNBA right now." The image spread across social media, clipped, replayed, and scrutinized. For those already convinced the collision was intentional, Hartley's grin was the final confirmation. What had been a heated debate over recklessness versus accident was suddenly transformed. For her critics, the smile wasn't just bad optics, it was proof. That clip changed the conversation entirely. It was the turning point that converted suspicion into outrage. Now the debate wasn't whether it was a foul, it was whether Hartley should face punishment. Fans insisted she had launched herself into Cunningham's knee on purpose. Others condemned the larger culture around the league, pointing out how some rival fan bases openly celebrated the injury online. To Fever fans, that was despicable, especially given how many of those voices came from followers of rival stars like Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese, and Aja Wilson. The weight of Hartley's past actions only intensified the perception. If this had been a player without a record of controversy, maybe the reaction would have softened. People could have chalked the smile up to nerves, adrenaline, or an unfortunate frame. But Hartley had a history, and fans were quick to remind each other of it. Earlier this season, she was caught on camera yanking Angel Reese's hair during a rebound battle, a moment that infuriated both benches. In another game, she sparked a scuffle with Rebecca Allen that ended in her ejection. She had also gotten tangled up in heated exchanges with Skylar Diggins and others, building a reputation for messy, physical confrontations. None of these incidents alone defined her, but together they created a narrative too strong to dismiss. Whether fair or not, her reputation meant that the smile didn't look like a misunderstanding, it looked like confirmation. And for Fever fans, that single clip crystallized all their anger. Sophie Cunningham had been targeted, the referees failed to act, and Bria Hartley had just cemented herself as the WNBA's most controversial player.